Welcome to our group's heuristic evaluation of the FIU's student portal my.fiu.edu. Hi everyone, my name is Marcel, and in this presentation we're going to talk about an evaluation made by our team for the FIU's website my.fiu.edu. As you can see in the slide, the presentation will start with an introduction, then an explanation of the evaluation method with Nelson's 10 usability heuristics, later a detailed description of our team's findings and recommendations, and finally our conclusions. The purpose of this document is to evaluate FIU's website my.fiu.edu and to provide information on how to improve the usability for FIU students. The evaluation of the website was based on research made by Jacob Nelson with his work 10 Usability Heuristics for User Interface Design. MyFIU is a student portal for Florida International University, which was built to serve as an online platform for students to manage their personal and academic information, such as scheduling, enrollment, financials, and advisement. This report identifies problems with the university's website design and provides recommendations to improve its usability with the ideal of creating a better experience for the end user. Next, our teammate Alice will explain the evaluation approach.
Hello, in this slide I'm going to talk about Jacob Nielsen's 10 usability heuristics. First of all, I'd like to explain that a heuristic evaluation is the critique of a website's design and user experience. This is done so that a website can be updated to be more user-friendly and function properly. Nielsen's heuristic approach is the evaluation of the most common areas used to evaluate websites. For the evaluation of the FIU student portal, we have narrowed down these 10 heuristics to the 4 that we thought were the most important to change. As you can see, there is a list of all 10 to the right of the screen. The ones highlighted in bold are the ones that we'll be talking about today. I'll go ahead and turn you over to Marcel for our first heuristic approach.
Now in this slide, we'll discuss different problems with the website design in accordance to the recognition rather than recall heuristic. This heuristic aims to ease the user's memory load required to use the website by implementing elements in such a way that its function is recognizable by the users. In this area, we found 3 problems. First, in the class search tool, some input fields unnecessarily require the user to recall information. Second, the process of adding a page to favorite is slow and unintuitive. And finally, in the navigation bar, the use of folders is inefficient. We'll discuss these findings in the following 3 slides. Our first finding was in the class search area. The current class search design can be seen at the bottom left side of the slide. The class search tool is a crucial instrument for students to manage their enrollment to the university. At the moment, 2 of the input fields, course subject and course number, require the user to recall by memory the full course tag in order to perform a search, even though it's not strictly necessary. To optimize these fields, our team recommends to modify them to implement autocomplete suggestions. As the number of options for course subject is limited, the subject text field could be modified to implement the autocomplete feature. As the user types a letter, all matching course subjects could be shown in a list underneath the field. An example can be seen at the bottom right side of the slide. Similarly, the number of options for possible course numbers that match a subject is limited. Hence, it will be beneficial for users to implement an autocomplete feature for the course number box. In general, autocomplete suggestions create a greater experience for users by providing confirmation or the desired class, while also providing students with a helpful shortcut to the right selection. We also found a problem with the current implementation of the favorites menu. A screenshot of this element can be seen at the bottom left side of the slide. At the moment, adding a subpage to favorites is very unintuitive as the user has to manually add them in the drop-down menu. Also, once created, this new favorite page cannot be added to any subfolder, which is impractical. And finally, to edit the favorite list, the user is required to navigate to another page. In order to optimize this process, our team recommends implementing the favorites menu in a more intuitive way such as adding a favorites icon. An example of a favorites icon used by Google Chrome can be seen at the bottom right side of this slide. The use of a favorites icon is very common, as it's used in most web browsers, which makes them more recognizable for the end user. Using a favorite icons is not only more intuitive, but it's also beneficial as it's faster and requires less clicks by the user. Next, our teammate Damien will present our last finding for this heuristic.
One of the most important parts of any website is its navigation system. The MyFIU portal uses the once commonplace tree navigation system. The tree navigation system is hierarchical and requires users to know the appropriate path to their desired file. This can be frustrating for some users who do not have their desired file path memorized. The best resolution is to switch to a mega menu system, where content is grouped into sensible categories, making it much easier for users to scan for what they want. Let's discuss user control and freedom. The good design principle behind user control and freedom is granting the user maximum ability to navigate and use the site's content. The problem identified with the MyFIU portal is related to its design of the site's user interface. The finding being the site is hard to use on mobile devices. The MyFIU portal uses the same layout on mobile as it does on desktops. This leads to the problem of the site being hard to read and elements on the site being too small and hard to click. The recommended fix is to build a mobile interface that is easier to use. This is especially important as millennials, a category most FIU students fall into, access the web primarily through mobile devices. Next, Elise will discuss aesthetic and minimalist design.
The third area we're going to look at is aesthetic and minimalist design. This heuristic is used to evaluate the elements on the page that need a reduction in content. This keeps the user from being overloaded with unnecessary or irrelevant information. The two problem areas on the student portal that the group found issues with are site design, which was found to have irrelevant information in the class search form, and relevant resources, where the side navigation bar on the page wasn't customized to fit the student's needs. In the next two slides, we will take a look at these areas to show what improvements can be made. For the site design issue, we're taking a look at the class search form. As you can see from the image on the left, the element that the group found to be unnecessary was the institution dropdown in the form. This section is irrelevant, since the users on the site are already students at FIU. Eliminating this dropdown will save time for the user when searching for classes. This will also eliminate any errors that may be triggered due to not choosing this option. The other problem we're going to talk about is relevant information. The group found that in the sidebar section of the main page, there were many items listed that may not be relevant to each and every student. As you can see on the right-hand side, this is an image of what the sidebar looks like when a student logs into the portal. Though many of these items may be helpful to some, not all students will use information such as meal plans and student housing. The group has proposed that the system be updated to show a sidebar that is customized to fit the needs of each student. Should you live in student housing, then the menu options should be available to you. If you do not, then the menu item should not be listed. The help and documentation heuristic is the last that the group chose for this presentation. In the following slides, my groupmate Elian will be talking to you about the findings to the right. The group found that on the student portal, there was no user guide for the students using the site. The group also found that the hyperlinks to any of the help sections were redirecting users to an error page.
The website does not provide the user with documentation. Some areas such as such as searching, planning, and enrolling for classes require the user to interact in a more structured way with the platform, which might require the documentation to clarify the process to the end user. For this, we would recommend for sections such as the search class, the website could include a mouse over dialog containing a description of the section, as a picture you can see at the right of this slide. Furthermore, the few hyperlinks that would provide help to the end user did not work. They showed a 404 error code as a picture you can see in this slide. So I would recommend that this redirect should be fixed so the user is brought to the right page. And once the documentation is implemented on the site, the link should direct the user to the specific page that the user is trying to obtain more information about. As an example, if a user is trying to find more information on how to add cursors to their card and they click the hyperlink, they should be directed to the page in the help documentation describing how to perform this action. Summarizing, there were 8 issues found which violated 4 of Nielsen's 10 heuristic principles: information recall in class search, creating favorites, navigation bar, website was hard to navigate from mobile devices, unnecessary elements in class search, unnecessary sidebar information, no user guide, and broken help hyperlinks. This report encourages the FIU Information Technology Department to take these recommendations into account and address the issues to better serve everyone who relies on the services of MyFIU.